I want to bring something to your attention that could prove to be one of the biggest challenges that employers face over the next few years. A few months ago, I began to feel something shift in the talent marketplace. I couldn't even necessarily put my finger on what it was exactly. I just knew that something was changing in relationship to people's pay. So, if you've seen me speak before, or have been in one of my master classes or training workshops, or even if you've followed me on LinkedIn for a while, you know that I teach what the research says about why people change jobs. The research says that people typically don't leave a job because of pay until now, and that's what's changing. Recruiters know, and I think that all hiring managers should know this as well, that there are actually two forces at play when people change roles. There are always push reasons, those things that aren't working in their current position that pushes them to look for or entertain other opportunities. And then there are those pull reasons. What's pulling them into the new role? Until now, pay has always been firmly on the pull side of the equation. And this is what I'd started to feel was changing. Then last week, this report by Mercer dropped onto my desk. It's called Rethinking What We Need from Work. I've put the link to the full report down below, but I want to share a few screenshots with you today. It starts very simply by saying that after what the world has experienced over the last few years, employees are more focused on securing their financial, physical, and emotional health and well being than by achievement or climbing the corporate ladder. A word of caution here. That statement might lead you, as it originally did me, to believe that because people are now more focused on security, that they're going to stay put. Maybe this report is pointing to the end of the Great Resignation or Great Reshuffle or Great Reset, however you choose to refer to it. But no, the report actually goes on to make a case for just the opposite. Their research says that we are in for even more employee turnover in 2023, unfortunately. This year's study shows that employee satisfaction, specifically in the areas of compensation, benefits in the US, and career goals, has declined significantly. In fact, employee commitment to their employer has realized an 8-point drop. The other thing that stands out are the shifting priorities. Covering monthly expenses has risen to number one from number nine in 2021. The ability to retire jumped 3 spots to number two this year. And personal debt, which wasn't even a concern last year, is now in the top 10. And yet, instead of finding these things in their current role, more and more people are opting to change roles to find them. This report shows that 1 out of 3 people are considering leaving their employer in the US. And recently, I read a report from Allianz Australia that 2 million Australians are very likely to consider leaving their jobs over the next 6 to 12 months. Ouch. The three reasons that Mercer has found that people are leaving are insufficient pay, burnout due to a demanding workload, which is obviously caused by the skill shortage, and health insurance in the US. So, why has pay become so important? I'm seeing a few reasons for this. The first is salary transparency. People are talking about what they make on social media. In fact, there's a whole series of TikToks dedicated to people revealing their salaries. But not only that, many states in the US are now requiring salaries to be listed on job ads, and Australia is considering similar legislation. So, if you're sitting in a role and hear about others in a similar role who are making more money than you, or read a job ad listing a higher salary for a comparable role, what do? You probably either ask for a raise or find another job, and both are happening right now. The other thing that I'm seeing is a wider recognition that people can make more money by changing jobs than staying where they are. Think about it. What we pay our people is the only thing for which we don't have to continuously pay market rate. We pay market rate when we hire them and then give them small incremental pay increases as they stay. Years ago, I read a study that said if someone changes jobs every 2 to 3 years for 20 years, they will be making 50% more than someone who stays in the same role for that same period of time. With people talking about pay more openly, this is no longer the best kept secret in the corporate world. Mercer offers 3 pieces of advice. First, they say reward retention by keeping pace with the external market. Easier said than done, I have to say, and I'm sure that you'll agree, because this may mean a spike in costs and pay disparity issues within teams. But this reckoning has been coming for a while. I've been talking about pay transparency since at least 2016, knowing that the skill shortage would bring this challenge into the spotlight, and indeed it has. That's why I think this is the biggest challenge that businesses will face, or at least one of them, over the short to midterm. The second piece of advice is to uncover what's really going on, recognizing that pay is only one of several factors that can affect people's job satisfaction. This gets back to my push and pull reasons for people changing jobs. That's still a valid concept. And if you'd like help understanding your people's other push reasons, please contact me to talk about my currencies of choice model, which was developed originally by reverse engineering over 5,000 exit interviews. And it's recently been updated with research around the Great Resignation. Finally, Mercer suggests that we rethink the elements of broken work, and there are a lot of them. I'm going to be addressing this much more in my next video. In the meantime, I highly suggest that as you think about your strategic objectives for 2023, that you put how you're going to handle the emerging challenge of pay up front.